Hello my friends and welcome to the Tokyo Drafts. On this video I'm going to take you with me to my process of sketching architectural concepts using very cheap, no fancy materials that you can get online, stationery that costs almost nothing, no fancy Moleskine sketchbooks, just super generic notebooks and some very cheap muji pens. For this sketching series, I choose to work with 3 colors because that allows me to separate certain entities in my concept for this particular project. One thing I would say from the get-go is that when someone is new to sketching, they are very concerned about making very straight lines and being very concerned about how their lines look. I would say that you shouldn't care about that. As you see here, my lines are very wavy and I'm not even thinking about it as I go. And of course, this is a matter of experience, but also it's a matter of letting go of perfectionism when it comes to sketching, because sketching is more about expression rather than how things look. And as you see, and you will see throughout this process, I don't hesitate to go over the lines that I made before if I want to emphasize something or if I want to correct something. So instead of using an eraser, I just go on top of the lines I did. This wavy style of making lines is also suitable for more natural elements such as foliage, any kind of plants, any kind of topography. And for this project's case, working with a mound that is made out of individual contours, which you will see me depicting in multiple parts of this video. Again, as I said before, I don't hesitate to go over anything I make if I want to give some shadow or if I want to just make it look better. And in the end, my sketch is gonna look like a multi-layered entity, let's say. Here you also see how I cross-hatch on top of horizontal parallel lines with diagonal cross-hatching on this side of the mound section. Doing the same for the other side, taking my time, not pushing too much to make everything parallel and perfect. Let's try our third color, which is red. Here I'm trying to depict a descent from the ground level to 2 floors underground through a ramp, but also creating the projection of that descent to the basement level. And as you see, I enumerate the elements that I'm working with. This just helps me in general to organize my thinking. Here I will create a certain terrain with dashed lines because it is part of the architectural concept that I had in mind, which consists of 37 different numbers for this project, and these numbers have to do with what was asked of us to do. So I'm not going to go into detail why it's 37, but for now I am making 37. Even if you count and it's not 37, the idea is that there should be 37 lines horizontally and then 37 lines perpendicularly to them. making this terrain. They are not 37 after all, but the idea is still there in my mind. And now we're going to introduce the topography. That is one of the concepts that we're working with, and the topography comes as a hill that also has a particular number of contours, and each contour symbolizes a country. So basically we're talking about 30 to 40 different countries that we're trying to bring together in the project, and we're trying to symbolize it through the different design elements that we introduce. And this is an underground way that also leads to the ground level, and of course is an idea, so it's not accurate, but just schematically to see what is happening and to put all the elements down. And a potential lake. And a ladder that can take you from inside over the hill. You can imagine that this topography is hollow on the inside, as those green dust lines show. And also I'm trying to consider how I can carve an enclosure for this element in the aspect of, it could be a glass case, or it could be some different structure that could be on top of this topography. At this point I really don't know. I'm just trying out different things, and that's why you will see me do multiple sketches for all those different elements, but assembled in different ways. And even before that I was already contemplating the elements of the hill, the hollow hill that is a space from the inside but the topography to the outside, and an underground level where something happens, and a potential enclosure on top of the hill that is a counterpoint between a natural topography and a very square-like structure that comes to be antithetic to that. Here I'm trying some different relations of these elements that I described, and potentially trying to make an underground water path that has rocks on top of it that you can use in order to walk on top of the water. And you get the idea. We have the three colors, we have the hill topography that is essentially a space, and we have some underground space that is hidden under the hill, and then potentially some element that is very clean and potentially translucent on top, that could be a glass box, for example. And so throughout the rest of the sketches you're going to see different iterations of this idea, and you're going to essentially see how I work with these three elements and these three colors in order to come up with different design approaches. But what essentially you want to keep from this method is that for me sketching is more like puzzling of ideas. Whenever I have a design task at hand, I invent some design elements that are very clean and specific, and then I start to blend them in different ways to create an architectural solution. And so you will see this approach throughout the rest of the video. Now in this holiday season, you can take the chance to relax, sit down, take a cup of hot cocoa, listen to some relaxing music, and just experiment with your ideas. You can just create on a whim a few different elements that you feel could tell a story, and then you can try to connect them in different ways so that you can practice your cognitive ability together with your sketching ability. When I was in architectural school as a bachelor student, I might have spent a year where I would sketch something every day. I took it as a challenge to improve my ability to sketch and to stop fretting over how my sketches look. And I had this very talented professor that was also very eager to pass on his technique, and he was the one that inspired me to create this challenge for myself. So I think when I was around 19 years old, for that year I sketched something, no matter how small, every day. And of course, after that practice became part of my life, then I could sketch with much more confidence. And it doesn't matter if my sketching is objectively good or bad, it's more about me developing an intimacy with the way I use this medium to put down my ideas and to think together with drawing. So if you find that you don't feel confident and that you want to improve, make a commitment to sketch a little bit every day, a very small, tiny sketch like the ones that I'm making right now, or bigger sketches, it doesn't matter. Just make a commitment for a few months that you're going to show up every day to improve and feel better about this very important tool for expressing and thinking. And you won't have to do that for the rest of your life. Now I can spend months on end without sketching anything, but it is like any skill. Once you master it, then it is easier for you to go back to it when you need to. I hope this helps, and have a good holiday season, and thank you for watching.